Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel tonight for a video that's going to be just a little bit salty with the way tonight's game played out, and it has nothing to do with the actual game itself. This Thursday night game between Melbourne and Carlton, it's just the lineups and the fact that George Hewitt was played as a sub tonight. Unbelievable. I worked late tonight, so I kind of checked the team before I was about to drive home, and see the green dots. I'm like, Hewitt, he wouldn't be a risk of a sub tonight, which probably was a bit silly. I probably should have checked, because they're probably going to rest him every now and then. But still, got home, put it on. I was like, haven't seen Hewitt yet. Be weird for him. Maybe he's starting on the bench. Kennedy in the middle to start off, and then I look at the scores and go, oh, he's sub. And it just still hits you because you go, fucking hell. What's the point of planning trades all week for you then to come in and see one of the players that's supposed to be a premium on your field and locked in as a sub? And all you're then hoping is, give us an injury. And I was thinking maybe Carlton, maybe someone gets injured like McGovern does a hammy again or something like that early, and maybe Hewitt can salvage like a 60 or 70. But no, we get to the half, he's still not on. So then you get to the half and you're going, oh, come on, do not sub him on. Just get him through. Then I can try and loop something through him. And then Chera goes off injured. And let's see what the injury is, because I don't actually know. I couldn't watch it because I was so annoyed. A hammy. Yes, a hammy. So then Chera comes in and, Hewitt started off well. He got a couple touches, kicked a goal at least, which got him a score up a bit. But still, 36 is just ruined the week. And it's the first game, so that's great. And not only did that happen, but I folded when I saw 25% of the competition was on Gawn as VC, and I went him as VC. And then what happens? He goes 100, which isn't the worst, but it's not a VC score. Should have just stuck with Sarong. All week I've been saying Gawn's not the one, for a big score because of the way Pitnet will try and play him, and even DeConing at times. I still went on it. And this would have been lower than 100, a lot lower than 100 if he didn't kick that late goal, which put him within 1 point with about 40 seconds to go. So, yeah, the frustrations are everywhere. That's the game. I missed the Fife drama last week. I've missed quite a few of the injuries except for Green. So something had to go wrong, and I guess this was it. At least it's maybe 60 or 70 points you're losing there. That's just so frustrating for no reason. Really got to hope there's most people have a rookie there. I think looking at my team, I'm round about probably a primo in front of teams, or a guy like Hewitt on the field is that primo, semi-primo that I have instead of a rookie. But very frustrating. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of teams are missing Sweet and gonna have maybe a 0 at R2, or they've upgraded it. So, but it's still annoying, still so frustrating. Especially because it felt like it was out of nowhere, and even the commentators did you think it was weird Hewitt was sub tonight? And you're like, well, yeah, because I thought it'd be bloody tagging an Oliver or a bloody Viney or someone in there, but no, they bloody subbed him. Anyway, that's enough for the salt. Now, got to be honest, I didn't watch much of this game because I was annoyed, but Petrarca played really well, kicked 5 goals, but he only scored 120. So you take the 5 goals out, and it's what does Petrarca get? Now, 57% disposal efficiency probably didn't help that. And what I would assume is he could be getting to mid-forward status. You'd have to think if he's kicking 5 goals, it looked like he was there a bit, but yeah, I don't know. Don't know if you want to be jumping on Petrarca. I'd like to have a look at Neil Bullen, which I might do after. Did Hewitt go down? He went up. We just got 3 points. Yes. Very good. But Oliver stayed. So, oh yeah, we're only, 48 points off Oliver now. You beauty. But anyway, Petrarca's score is just pumped up to 134 actually, so that's pretty good. And Gawn's gone up to 111. So there were some late scoring changes here. Funny that happened live. It's still happening. All right. What do we got? So Walsh has gone down, went down, and went up. Gone stayed 111. Hewitt's gone up. Oh yeah, it's just updating what I think happened by the looks. Let's give this a refresh. Sorry, this is real rare. That this has happened. I mean, it's probably because I'm a bit early, but yeah, as I said, 39. So I'm going to lose a lot of money on Hewitt now. I'm going to go have a look at that as well. But going back to Demons, Neil Bullen, interesting. Very interesting to see what his scoring's been like because I feel like he's playing a bit more midfield this game. Oliver. Now, Oliver was a very, very popular trade. And I reckon I looked at it, was like 19% were trading him in, which would have made 20% of the competition have him. Now, the fact that that's happened, he scored an 87 and Hewitt has scored, 39? At least it's only like 38 points I'm losing to the rest of the comp, like a lot of the comp, but still, I just thought for sure Hewitt would be playing this game and it was one of the reasons I didn't pick Oliver. It was this week was I was thinking Hewitt's going to probably play pretty hard on him and he's going to find it hard to get the ball and probably have like a lower game. He did have a lower game, but Hewitt didn't play. So maybe Kennedy went to him. I don't know. Didn't watch. So, but I did watch the start of the game. Actually, and he was getting quite a bit of the ball, just the usage was a bit off. I mean, he still had 73% usage, like productivity, not productivity, efficiency. But yeah, not sure about that with Clary, still on the fence. Feel like next week, good time to go on West Coast. Probably no Yo, so their midfield's going to be pretty raw, and I think. I don't know. It's like a cheap option, but it could be one. Like at the moment, I don't mind being a what's it called, an antipod. But I want to see what that ended up being the trade-ins on Clayton Oliver because I reckon some people might have gone late on him, and there might have been some late changes there. If anyone's still holding Windsor, you're pretty happy with the 73. Kicked a late goal, which helped. Thanks to Viney's brilliance tapping the ball back in. But yeah, you'd be pretty happy with Windsor going down this. Howes 54. So maybe some people have had Howes on field. So I'm only losing 15 points there, guys. For a rookie to a semi primo. But yeah, so Howes has dropped off a little bit. I mean, a lot of his scoring comes from uncontested marks / mark and contest. It was a wet game, which doesn't really suit his gameplay. So 54 is not the worst. I assume a lot of teams would be looping him and probably don't have him on field. But if you do, it is not the worst rookie score we will probably see this week. So I wouldn't stress hugely. But I assume he's getting close to the top of his money. Cripps had a really good bounce back game, so a 132. It was really a game type of game that he loves, like in and under the ball. I think it's funny that this score's so high. It just shows how much champion data values contested possessions because let's have a look at these. Like 9 clangers and 60% efficiency, 1 goal, 3 goals, 2, yes. A higher handball to kick ratio and got a 132. And I know a lot of this was probably in the big moments, but I don't know, like I've seen players have, not as better kicking numbers, disposals and stuff, and efficiency probably even a little bit higher than 60 and still score a lot worse than 132. So, but there's not many on Cripps. I think it's like 1%. Did think about him last week and then he went 65. If I had him now, it would be an 80 average, 90 average, but yeah, he looked pretty good from the little bits I saw of him. Walsh started off quick, faded out a little bit on the Supercoach wise. Dream Team, you'd be really happy. A lot of the ball, a lot of tackles. From what I saw, he didn't look like he was sore or anything. He did get knocked around a little bit. 52% efficiency didn't help him, but you'd be pretty happy with that. A little bit of a bounce back game for him. Kerno, so that's an interesting one because he is an interesting forward proposition as a loop at some point. 108, you'd be pretty pretty happy with that. Going down here, Nick Newman was talked about a little bit in some circles, but I think this kind of proves the top player, although it was a wet game, so you can't really blame him for that score. Chera, yeah, obviously out with the injury. Going down here, we have Mackay. So he was one that I rated a little bit highly, or pretty highly on the our rankings, actually. Bit of a down game here, but it was a wet game, which doesn't suit him. He's a contested mark type of player. So, it's not going to happen all the time. And they play quite a few games at Eddie Marvel, sorry. So I'm sure he'll bounce back. But yeah, I feel like Hewitt could have been saved the sub here and play a guy like Cowan there. But anyway, that was the game. And hopefully that is the worst that happens for me this weekend. So, going on the team. Let's go to the team lineups first. So, I actually looked at the team lineups when I got home as well, and just before I went to left work, and I skipped over this game because I was like, there's no way that there's going to be a sub that affects me, and there was. Well, I'm not sure how far out they name it, because it could have been like 5:30. I looked at it. It's SA time. And then, yeah, it might not have even been there, but frustrating one. So let's look at Geelong Port. A lot of changes here. Important one for a lot of teams is Clark has kept his spot. Now, I would probably suggest it's either going to be a Clark or Mullen sub. With Bose out, you think Mullen goes into that role. Parfitt could probably take the midfield over for Bruin, which leaves a Connor, who is named on field by the looks. So does that mean we're getting a Jar Clark? Oh, it could be Gary. I'd say Gary Rowan, Jar Clark, or Mullen are probably it. With Mullen coming in and Bowers going out, and also Tui going out, that feels like it's out of Clark and Rowan. So that's going to be my suggestion for sub there. Might as well talk about it. Sorry, I just had a cup of tea there. Port Adelaide. So they have had a few injuries. And the big one was Sweet out with the illness, brings in Vincentini. We've seen what Vizentini can put up before, and it's not amazing, but maybe, it's been a year or another off season since, so maybe he can work that out a bit more. I guess Finlayson and Dixon will probably go in there a little bit to help out. Evans in as well, and Lear's back, so nothing really too important. I don't know if Josh Sin. No, Sin's worth money now, isn't it? He was Josh Sin. So a rookie to look out for. Did he get a game this year at all? He hasn't played. So this could be a midfielder that we look at down the line, because he hasn't played a game yet. So could be a nice downgrade option in a couple of weeks. Which is nice. I think Evans has played a bit. Yeah, 225k. So yeah, it's Josh Sin. Keep an eye on him. Yes, with Jones injured, I'm not really sure 100% on that injury. Could get a spot in Burgoyne, but not sure about the job security long term unless he really plays well. I didn't know Tom Cleary was still on Port Adelaide's list, and I'm actually quite surprised he didn't get a game against the Crows. He's like a big defender. I feel like he was a bit roughly treated by Port. I didn't think he was too bad a player, to be honest, but that might just be me. Fremantle have got Darcy out, so that's really, really good for Jackson owners, and really good for the guys or people out there who are using Jackson as their cover for Sweet. Yeah, that would be really good cover to have. So you'd be happy to see that, and it might help you with your trade options. Swans, nothing really here. Jordan is named half forward, so he might play the role on Ryan as a defensive half forward, and even Adams maybe could do that as well. But if anything, they'll try and free Ryan up, and Ryan will get kicking. So happy to have him in the team. Now, Hawthorn St Kilda. What do we got here? Bruce, Mitchell, and Sarong in. So nothing really important as far as players go here. Sicily out. Yeah, it was pretty clear with the shoulder last week. He wasn't going to play the week after. Not sure about how long that is. And St Kilda, they've got my what do you call it? Burn man from last year, Liam Henry. God, started him as a rookie last year, 200k forward. He did absolutely nothing for the first 7 rounds, and then he went an 80, 90 average at the end of the year. I was like, oh, unbelievable. Mateus Philippou has been omitted and burned, so nothing really here. Ooh, NWM 50th game. Let's get a big 130, eh? Nice. But yeah, nothing too super coach important here. Bombers, nothing really for them either. For the Giants, we do have Canelio back. Weir and Peatling omitted. So Peatling had quite a bit of midfield game last week, but he's been omitted now. And Weir has also been omitted, which is good for Darcy Jones. And a guy like Connor Stone coming in, and even Haynes to a degree, kind of helps us maybe know that Jones has a little bit of security there. Tom Green is playing, so you can bank on that. Apparently, I've got a sneaking suspicion he might be laid out. So just be careful about your rookie that you have looped. I want to see what Haynes is worth these days. I think he had an all right back end last year. That's why he's still 408k. But otherwise, not much to talk about there. Richmond, so Bolter, Prestia, and Graham back. No McAuliffe, so for those people who picked up McAuliffe earlier, I'm guessing you're still waiting for that bubble game. Bolter coming back in should help their back line a bit. Grimes is being managed, which is interesting. Naismith has been omitted, so no good for the Naismith holders. What do you do? I think you probably just hold him. Unless you got sweet R2, then you have to try and do something. Anything interesting here? The back 6 is pretty standard. Where's... I know Tom Brown is here, so that's good. That's good for our team. Still on the back line. Nothing much going through the different in the middle. I feel like Pickett could really be moved on and give games to younger players. Richmond, come on. You guys need to start blooding some of these guys because Dusty's got to be on his way out as well. Great player still, love him, but Richmond got to start thinking the future of this team. Prestia, hopefully he gets a full game in because otherwise I think he's probably nearing retirement with the amount his calves and hammies are going. And Baker's on the bench, named on the bench, so you can't get much information about him, but the team sheets are pretty rare. So let's have a look at the Dogs, and I think there's a big one here. So Keith, Fraser, we'll say it's Fraser, Riley Weston, Cleary back in. So Baker's omitted, Libber's obviously out indefinitely, Clark's omitted, and Buku is a big one that's omitted. You might want to think about trading him or holding him depending on your team structure. Now, something I find really interesting, Keith coming back in, I don't know if that affects Dale at all. I don't think Keith ever really took kickouts, and it actually might help free him up maybe a little bit, having another bigger defender there. But the interesting thing that's coming out of this is that McRae isn't named straight in the middle for Libber, and Richards is let there, which helps the Dale case very largely. Now, I did hear that he was played forward a bit at the end of the Hawthorn game last week, so, it could happen. Bevo's not afraid to chuck around. Chuck around the magnets. Let's look at this Free Asia. So he's a mid forward, so one to look at. 170k might be a good downgrade option if he scores well. However, not sure about the job security. So Darcy's kept his spot, lobs the emergency. Now, if McRae's sub, that could be very interesting because, like, I guess Gallagher could be, but it doesn't. Yeah, that could be really interesting. Riley West coming back in, does that push McRae out? I don't know. It's just funny that Joel's named on field, but I mean, these could be wrong. I think you can name the sub from a player on the field. I would say that I reckon that happened with Hewitt, to be honest. I reckon he was green last night, named in on field. But anyway, Gold Coast have swung the axe, and we have seen. Well, actually, they haven't really swung the axe, but they have gotten rid of our boy Will Graham, omitted. So I actually liked him on field better than Closey, but we're going to have to go Closey on field, which is what everyone's going to be doing anyway. But Graham omitted, so that's going to stop the cash. So that's going to be an interesting, something interesting to watch with teams, because we got to keep the cash gen going to get these upgraded teams. Sexton back in is going to be a help for a lot of teams, not for mine because I traded him out. But at the time, I kind of thought he might not be getting any games. And it's a good game for him to come back in against North Melbourne, so a bit annoying. Looking at this though, I think Ethan Reid, he's a rookie as well, so if you had him, you'd be annoyed. And Power suspended for 5 games for a slur, so they're really going hard on that. Now North, so this is really pushing the Power out, I think, because they're actually happy to play Phillips in the midfield when he's out, and they brought Lazaro back as well, who I traded out last week, but I don't mind either. I mean, he's not safe in this team, and there's every chance he's the sub. Power's still named on that half forward flank. I think if you want to trade him. I've traded him this week because I knew this was going to happen, but I just couldn't sit there and have him score hundreds as a forward and not have him. And God, sometimes it's one of those things you want to just bat your gut with, because last year they didn't play him in the midfield when they could have. And I started with him last year, and they've done the same this year. They teased it a bit, and then they put him back to the forward line. So want to struggle to see Sheasel named in the back line with McKercher, so maybe that's good for him. Maybe we get that roll back. I guess that's what we're hoping. Looking down from there, we've got Collingwood on West Coast. So Collingwood, these are extended benches, but Bytel's interesting. 125k has shown the capability to score well, but I doubt he gets game. I'd say you'd have to think Sullivan couldn't miss. And it'll be like Hoskin, Elliott, Sullivan played a great game. Can't see him being dropped. And then maybe Bytel. Even Charlie Dean could come in. So interesting to see how they name that. Obviously a few changes here. We go injured, Waterman injured, and Noah Long injured. Tyrell Dewar is new. I reckon he's a backline player, isn't he? Or he might be a forward, actually. Yeah, he's a forward. So how they name this? So are they all on the extended bench, all of these changes? It looks like it. Picking from here, you'd think that Marich, Hunt, Witherden and Jermaine Jones play, although Edwards played last week. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah, so maybe that's what they go with, because Chester was pretty average, and I feel like Gaff's like there's like a sub option, and the other 3 will be emergencies maybe. Going to the Crows game, Crows v Brisbane. Yeah, not much here either to talk about, because realistically, Zorko is named back, so if you want to go him, might be good to go, because these two are ACLs. Darcy Gardner and McCarthy are both ACLs. Ainsworth, you'd suspect will come back after that. What did he do? He had a calf, didn't he, in the warm up? So yeah, it'd be interesting. Or was he? It wasn't him, was it? It was someone else. Where's their name? Doesn't look like, and maybe it was Answorth. Thought it was someone else for some reason, but Rebel's going to get another game, so it'd be interesting to see his job security. And I really don't know much about Pride, Joyce, and Brain. We have seen a bit of Fort over the years. Lyons is back in if anyone has him. And Archie's actually a running defender, isn't he? So it could be interesting to see if he takes a bit of Zorko's play as well. But I suspect the Crows will be a bit tighter on Zorko than maybe what Gold Coast played. And maybe actually make Zorko be a bit more accountable as a defender, because it's a bit more of an attacking forward line, but we'll see what happens. I think if you want to go Zorko, you could. I just don't like his age, his injury, and his job security in the role. I just don't know if it sticks. So moving back to the team, so I've stuck with the trades, Ryan and Jones for Roberts and Power. Do I think I should change any of this? Possibly. But these are all these players are making good money. Roberts is like peaking. I'm kind of happy to get rid of him. Although it is interesting. But I need the money to get Ryan, so I'm just gonna have to stick with it. But yeah, one game down. We went the VC on Gorn. We got a 39 on Hewitt. How much money are you gonna lose? Let's say he's gonna lose like 30,000. So that's what, 470. So I'm gonna make like 40k a few in the end. Brilliant. Although Oliver's probably only making what, 20 grand. So I can probably like nearly go one trade to Oliver, which just seems all right. Although I might just downgrade, like trade someone out. Whether it's Darcy and then just go Hewitt up and get a good midfielder, because it's not going to cost me much. And even like if I can do like a Hewitt, Meek, Darcy next week as my boost trade, that might be something I look at, because Hewitt's not going to make money now. And what buy has he got? Has he got the early buy? Nope. He's got the round 14 then, doesn't he? Yeah. Round 14 buy. I do need to start rotating some of these players out, so it might be a good time to rotate Hewitt out and target someone there. But yeah, not a great start. Gorn 111, not enough for a VC score. I'm just going to stick with the captain on Bont. Really good matchup. He always plays well against Richmond. I'd be surprised to see his last low score against Richmond. Like, look at this. 136, 122, 153. I'm happy to back that in. And it's kind of they need to win the game, you know. Not sure the Dogs will be wanting to lose to, or not even try. And like Richmond's kind of a danger team. When they play well, they can really bring it to the top teams as well. What do we got after that? GWS Sydney. So interesting matchups coming up for Bont. And the Bulldogs, to be honest, because those are two hard matchups. So Port and Geelong, I'm not really interested in anyone there, because I think that Butters, like Geelong, could put a bit of work in there. And the Geelong midfielders, none of them really go real big. I guess Stewart could be an option, because Port's forward line is pretty lackadaisical at sometimes. But yeah, I will stick with Geelong. Stick with staying out of that game, sorry. I would suggest. Fremantle, Sydney. I just think Sarong's going to get some time and Ryan's going to get some time put into them. I think Heaney could actually be all right, because Fremantle's mids don't really... I mean, Brayshaw does stick, but I feel like Heaney could play really well. Bond's had big games against Fremantle, so I don't see why Heaney couldn't. So that could be one if you've saved your VC. Hawthorn Saints... Hawks just don't have anyone who's really relevant anymore with Sicily out. St Kilda, like a Nas, could be all right. Steele could be all right. I think Marshall will have a hard time with Meek. Who else was St Kilda? Sinclair. I don't think Sinclair's very relevant this year. And then from there, it's like Essendon v GWS. Like I feel like that's a hard matchup, especially with Cornelio backs like Kelly Cornelio and Green's playing. Even if he's laid out, like this isn't an easy matchup for like a Martin or a Parish. So I'd maybe leave that one as well. Which then brings you to like the two games where there are a lot of captain VC options, but they're at the same time. So if you got Rao, good one. 2, probably all right. Anderson loves to beat up on these type of teams. So if you've got him, he could be worth a sneaky VC if you've got someone to go later. But then yeah, Dogs, English and a Bont are very good choices as well. And then if you're waiting real late, Collingwood, Dacos, captain option probably. And the Crows Brisbane, probably Neil's probably going to have a field day, and Dunkley probably play pretty well as well. But anyway, so this is what the team's like. I'm expecting a slide this week after that Hewitt sub. That's really, really painful. We'd have to have a lot of things go right. If we could just have like 1 or 2 players underperform and like just drag us back 20 points here or there, it might not be too bad. Let's have a look at this Oliver trading. I'm pretty sure it was pretty big. It went down to 14%. So people jumped off. This was higher. This was 19% at one point. What's 14% on top of his ownership now? 3%. So 17% on him. So it's 1 in 5 teams nearly. But I reckon a lot jumped off him. And pretty surprising at that. I reckon it was 20 earlier in the week. Obviously, they've looked at some better options. Let's have a look at the top 1%. 23% of the top 1% got on Clary. And it's 22% of the top 5 and 21. So it is 1 in 5 teams in the top 10%. So at least that's like only 40 or so points that the top 5 have got. I'm in that top 10 actually. So I didn't realize this was top 10% now, but yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot to go. This is only 1 week, but it's really frustrating to miss the sub. But anyway, that's it from me. Long video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope your week started off better than mine. And if you've enjoyed the video, if you've enjoyed indulging in my pain, please give us a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to discuss anything about any players you think are interesting or ask any questions. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.